Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa. Today we're gonna be reviewing Ready to Love Season 8, Episode 3, Tommy's Choice. And in this episode, Tommy brought in two new singles, a man and a woman, Katarina and Christopher. And basically we saw their dynamic or interactions with the current cast members. Now, let's first speak on Marvin's date with Tequila. Now, we all saw Tequila last episode, and there was this explosive episode during the women's lounge where she was just unable to control her emotions and she gave in to Janelle's poking, and it ended up making her look 10 times worse. So in this episode, she's trying to redeem herself, so to speak. But remember, she said, if her baby is sent home, send her home next. So I think she got her wish, right? And I caught it from last episode that should be the one to be sent home. So that's essentially what happened. But first, she spoke with Marvin. There's like zero connection there. And I was talking with my friend, and his male friend, and it's actually quite easy to determine when the men are just not that interested in the women. And for Marvin, you could see that the connection was just not there at all. So Tequila claims that when her baby was sent home, she was disappointed. And in my mind, it's like, why would the other women keep her baby there? Like, none of them had interest in her baby except for her. So that is baffling. And now she's calling herself mature. If you were mature, you'd probably act differently in the previous episodes, and you would not allow Janelle to get to you and to poke at you and to get you to that point. So I don't know. Marvin claimed to be really surprised when he found out it was Tequila because he didn't know. But it looked more so that it was disappointment when he saw Tequila. So when me and my friend were watching the show together, he said something quite interesting when Katarina came into the picture. Now, Katarina is one of Tommy's wild cards. She just came in and she was put on a date with Chris, who is the Nigerian guy, right? Who's a bit short. But what he noticed was that when Katarina was introducing herself, she mentions her degrees. Like, she has 3 degrees. And his take on it is that men don't care about how many degrees a woman has. Because as far as he's concerned, it is irrelevant. Because if he's gonna come into that relationship anyways, he's gonna be the one that's going to be working and providing financially. So in his mind, it's like, what use is your degree? So for her to, and for other women who like to use their degrees as selling points, it actually works in the opposite way and may deter a man from being into you. I mean, you could have your degrees by all means, but for you to make it part of your personality trait, it turns a lot of men off because it makes them feel like they're not gonna be needed in that relationship. Since you got all your degrees and you think you know everything, what's the point in having me? So Katarina and Chris got along really well. They found out they had so much in common. Their African connection. Her dad is from Sierra Leone. He grew up in Africa, I think Nigeria, so they have that in common. They also work out a lot, and their purpose for working out is to eat whatever they want. So they had quite a lot in common. It looked and seemed like quite a very good date. Beside Chris looking nervous, I feel like Katarina is quite interested in him, so that went really well. Is Katarina gonna shake things up? I mean, it's a matter of time before we see her interaction with the men and the women together. We see how Janelle can be. So I'm interested to see how she's going to respond to Katarina. Speaking of Janelle, she's the next one to go out on a date, and she ends up going out with the other choice, Tommy's choice, which is a man. His name is Christopher. Tatted up, hair going crazy, beard going crazy, not beard going crazy, but beard growing out. He was a former teacher. He taught all grades. He is an entrepreneur now, So they spoke on that. But what I noticed immediately was that Janelle was not interested in this man. Janelle, her interest is elsewhere. And you could tell, he was trying to be open and, speak to her, but she wasn't as receptive. They actually went to the same high school, which is crazy. What do you guys think about Christopher? I want to hear everybody's opinions on Christopher. When you first saw him, what was your impression of him? He seemed like a pretty cool guy, but I just don't think Janelle is that interested in him. So it will be interesting to see who gravitates towards Christopher. So we have like a date with 3 people, Tequila, Philip, and Sierra. And basically, Philip told Tequila straight up, like, we could have had something, but you kind of messed it up in the last episode, so I don't see that working out again. I feel like he's seen what he needs to see from Tequila, and he knows that it's just not gonna work, and he's not one to push something that he knows it's just not gonna work, whereas she is in a vulnerable position because she needs to find a connection, and probably she thought that maybe she could try to get something out of Philip, but Philip is done. So she has lost Philip as a viable connection, and I don't think anyone else is interested in Tequila. Alright, so in this particular episode, now I'm understanding that Tommy particularly put them together. Like, he strategically decided this person has that trait, that person has this trait, they're gonna go well together, or maybe they're gonna cause some friction for the TV, who knows. But anyway, Sierra wants her eggs cracked, like right now, and she wants as many children as she could have. Philip is more interested in Sierra than he is in Tequila. He mentioned not being interested in like really posting his personal life on social media. Tequila responds to that as he being emotionally immature, but I don't necessarily think it has anything to do with emotional insecurity. I also feel like certain people just don't expose their spouses on their social media. It could be because they prefer the focus to be on them and their accomplishments, and I really don't see anything wrong with that. For somebody to require to be posted on social media, for me, I see it in 2 ways. I see it in one way as the person requires you to show other people who you're with. They need that external validation from you. They need you to, show them off. For them, that speaks to your level of loyalty to the relationship. And for some people, they don't require that. So it all depends on who you're with and what it means to them to be posted on social media. But for Tequila, I'm actually a little bit surprised that she put so much emphasis on it, because to me, it's not that serious. And some women look at it as their spouse maybe was a cheater before, and that way they could kind of ensure that he doesn't, like, it's a kind of control mechanism so that he doesn't cheat, which is weird because it's like that doesn't stop him from cheating. If he wants to cheat, if he wants to talk to other women, he will still do so. So posting really doesn't do anything other than tell women, okay, he's in a relationship, but it doesn't stop women from approaching the man, and it doesn't stop the man from going in these women's DMs. But I feel like it's a matter of getting peace of mind as a partner. But really, it's a false sense of peace of mind, because he's going to do what he's going to do anyway. So essentially, Tequila brings up the situation with Philip again and their awkward situation. And Philip is like, why would she bring it up again? And somebody said in the comment section that they feel like Tequila sabotages her relationships a lot. And perhaps she does. And I feel like she has a self-esteem issue as well, because she would prefer any attention to no attention. So whoever is giving her the attention, whether the person is toxic or not that great of a person, she's gonna accept it because at least the person is giving her attention. Whether it's lies, whether they're telling the truth, all she cares about is that person is giving me attention, which is toxic. Because if you're willing and interested in getting information and affirmation from any and everybody, then that speaks to you requiring some time to, understand why you require validation from anyone. Why is it okay to get it from anyone and for it to suffice? Why is it that when you don't get it from anyone, it bothers you so much? And I really feel like Tequila has issues with her self-esteem as well as her feeling inadequate, because we know a lot of the time a lot of dark-skinned women speak on being bullied, being treated as undesirable, and I feel like she has those issues. And I feel like in order for you to do better at seeing yourself in a better light, you require time to spend some time with yourself, understand why you feel inadequate and why is it important, are people's opinions of you so important, and has such a huge precedence on who you are as an individual. So on our next date, we have Aries, Lee, Unique, we have Herbert, Christopher, and Red. And there, I think it's like a inside football type of game, and it's a competitive environment. We see that Lee likes a more athletic type of person, so this was like probably one of the better dates for her. So Christopher comes in, and Red kind of wants to establish some type of dominance, like understand that I'm the dog in this like whole situation, when really he's not, but he wanted to exert that bit of masculinity, whatever. So Unique is talking to Christopher, and Christopher has this thing of asking the women, how many times have you been engaged? How many times have you been married? I don't know what the significance of that is to him, but apparently it's important to him to know. I don't know what it signifies, but he always wants to know how many times you've done something. But Unique has been married before, and she says she's looking for her person. But later on, we figure out that Christopher is not that into Unique because she said something that triggered him. I think what triggered Christopher was she saying something about she's no nonsense, she's firm on boundaries, because in the lounge he mentions he's been in situations like this before and it had not ended well. And maybe it speaks to the fact that Christopher does want to play games, so him and Unique would probably not do very well because he still isn't done playing games. So the fact that she doesn't want to play any games kind of rubbed him the wrong way. I don't know, that's two ways of interpreting it. So Lee and Herbert were talking. Initially, it doesn't seem like Lee was that much of Herbert's interest, and then he realized that, okay, there's more to Lee than just her physical appearance. And I guess he's a bit more intrigued about Lee now. But currently, I don't see them really working out. Like, I need to see that relationship develop, because right now I'm not seeing anything right now. So Lee seems really nice. We all love Lee, right? Lee says she's very tunnel vision when she's in relationships, and she's a gift to whoever she's with. So that speaks to somebody that knows their worth and knows what they bring to a relationship, which is amazing. So now we have Aries, who's speaking with Red. Aries is not interested in Red. Like, Red's approach when it comes to speaking with women, I feel like it's too direct, and it doesn't allow for them to... He asked way too much. Like, his questions are just like way too direct. Like, there's nothing romantic about it. There's nothing that eases up to it. He just asks, and it's like, I don't know how to answer that kind of question type of thing. Herbert feels as if Unique has issues that she needs to address before she enters into the dating realm. And that could possibly be true, because we could see she's built up a wall, and it's not that it's bad to have walls, but when a wall is built from trauma, it's a fragile wall. It appears as if it's impenetrable, but it actually is easily breakable, because the foundation of the wall is on trauma. It's on loose ground. It's not based on understanding yourself, being comfortable and confident in who you are, and being on that type of foundation. So Katarina comes into a group that already has Maury, Philip, and then Kyra, Jessica, Marvin. So she's coming in like a fish out of water, and Kyra is like giving those fake pleasantries that women like to give when they see their competition. Jessica too. So of course, like the women are not gonna be happy to see another woman join the competition, because it means that they have to keep working harder when they thought it would be easier, you know. So it kind of it may not necessarily be being upset at Katarina per se, but being upset that they have to kind of keep the game up. They can't ever slack away, because they might very well be sent home. So Kyra and Morier go to the side, they speak. One thing about Morier, he's such a teddy bear. Marvin can't wait to tell the women that he writes erotica and he performs erotica in front of people. That I feel like it's a good thing, because that way you could decide who is interested off the bat and who's not interested off the bat. Like you could just cut that from the very beginning. Like it doesn't have to be 20 dates. Like just get that out of the way on the first date. If you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. So far, the only person that is unique, that is interested in him, is unique. The fact that Katarina was like, it's great that he's living in his truth. To me, when women say these things, it kind of means, well, I'm happy you told me the truth, so now I could make my own decision. It's almost like, it's not necessarily a positive thing. It's more so, thank you for being honest, now I'm gonna exit type of thing. Isn't Maury just the sweetest, you guys? So he's talking with Jessica and he's showing and telling her that he's interested, and I'm not getting that same reception from Jessica. It doesn't seem as if she's that at least physically attracted to Maury, which is unfortunate because he is such a sweetheart. We find that the reason for his past relationship's demise is because of his partner's keeping in contact with her ex and stuff like that. So he decided, to separate from that. But Jessica doesn't seem that receptive. And then we have Marvin and Kyra, and she specifically said she wore her lingerie for him. So it leads me to believe that she's interested in Marvin and his erotica. So we see that, Marvin has plans to move back to the Caribbean or move to the Caribbean. Either his dad is from there or he lives there. So he loves the idea of, having kids there and stuff like that. And Kyra is not sure if she wants to move there with him. She doesn't see herself doing that. So that might be a big stumbling block for their connection. And so we have Philip and Katarina, and Katarina speaks on the fact that she followed her passion, opened up a beauty business, is very spontaneous in terms of her wanting to just get up and go, leave the country, enjoy her life, which appeals to Philip because he also travels, but more so domestically, and he's just more open and happy that there's a possibility that I can travel with a partner internationally. So I think all of that went really and fairly well. So Kyra is definitely competitive as well. Last episode she was making it seem like Janelle was the only competitive one there. She's equally as competitive now that a new prospect has entered the conversation, and the men are clearly interested in Katarina. Katarina has that very exotic type of beauty. She's to me very attractive. So Kyra is not feeling it. I don't think Jessica is feeling it, and I don't feel that other women are gonna be feeling it. So when it comes to their women's lounge, I literally cannot wait to see how the other women respond to Katarina. So now let's head into the men's lounge. So the men decided that it was a toss-up between Tequila and Unique. They feel as if Unique is kind of closed off. Christopher feels like she may have this defense, and that's not a very positive sign from his experiences. And they feel like Tequila is not that open. They don't like her personality. They don't feel like they mesh well with Tequila. So eventually they take them out on dates, and Tequila is the one that got sent home, which is of no surprise to anybody. I called it last episode. I knew it. The men are just not that attracted to be honest with you, the men are not that attracted to bigger women. And I also would add they don't like ghetto-ish behavior as well, which is what we saw, and they're not very much receptive to that. So let me know what you guys think. Are you happy Tequila left? Do you feel like she should have been given another chance? Do you feel like she was ready for the process or came into the process prematurely? Like, what do you think? Do you think Unique is gonna find her person in Marvin or Herbert or anybody else? Do you think that she's the next one to go? Let me know in the comment section. And what do you think about the wildcards, Christopher and Katarina? Do you think that they're gonna be shaking up some things? Are you attracted to Christopher? Do you feel like the women are gonna gravitate towards him? Let me know. Do you think the men are gonna gravitate towards Katarina? Do you think she's gonna get into situations with the women, competitively? Let me know in the comment section. And like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys have to say down below. Bye bye.